Welcome back to Still Speak. This is episode 5 of my Summerwells series. If you've not seen the first 4 episodes, pause here, go give those a listen, and come back. It'll be easier for you to follow along in this episode. And for the rest, we're going to take a little detour from all the chaos and rumors and speculating for a hot minute, since it's been over 60 days since Summer went missing. Let's actually talk about Summer, since this is about her. She seemed like a really free-spirited 5-year-old, where she loved to swing super high and climb and swim and even slip. There's a TikTok video of her doing a slip and slide with her brothers, having so much fun. It appears that she really loved her brothers, and you can definitely tell she was the only girl out of 4 kids. I knew a 5-year-old back in 2010 that I babysat for who refused to even go outside. She was terrified of bugs. If you brought her outside for any reason, she would just cry hysterically. Summer was definitely not that way. And there was a lot of criticism about the conditions of the Wells property in a TikTok video of Summer dancing barefoot in the rain. But she was having the time of her life. She's 5. She doesn't know any better. Summer loved Paw Patrol, and she shared her love with it with her grandmother. You know, she put her little Paw Patrol toys in pots outside Grandma's trailer right before she vanished. Summer seemed to love her church family, and they loved her too, you can tell. And this sweet, carefree little girl should have started kindergarten a week ago, where she could have made friends, some of which, would have been lifelong friends. But instead, she's joining the thousands upon thousands of missing children across the globe, and is on billboards of missing kids, like the ones we see at our local Walmarts. She's on mine. I don't even live in her state. I saw it the other day. She's on there. It truly is a shame. I think any of us who are following this case, despite any of our opinions, we all have a common hope, and that hope is that Summer is found, and hopefully safely, or just found in general. But I do understand the statistics. I hate statistics because they equal hopelessness to me. You know what I don't have in common with many, if not most, of the people discussed in this case, though? I personally don't want to believe the ones that she trusted. Summer trusted. And Summer loved the most. Because again, she's a child and doesn't understand anything, different. May have harmed her. And then she gets added to the statistics of children killed by their parents. Now, I've considered it. I pondered it. I analyzed it as much as I can with the little amount of facts we have. And I don't know what my position is yet. But no, there are several possibilities that we're going to talk about in later episodes. I would much rather, if this turns out to be a bad ending, that it was some random evil person rather than her own parents. I hope for her brother's sakes as well. I do. I really, really hope and pray that it wasn't at the hands of her parents. But for some reason, it feels like so many are actually rooting for that. Because that's their opinion, that this is what happened, and so it comes across as almost rooting, like they're going to win. They want to prove and see, I was right. Not even thinking about the fact that you realize that if you are right, this means this little girl was harmed, murdered by people she loved. Why would you want that? I don't, that's for sure. So, now, Chris, back to him, of the interview room, had an expert that he works with to give his take on the call between himself and Dawn. So you got Chris, who did several videos about Dawn, then he did one about Dawn's phone call, and then he did one with Dawn and another expert. When Chris introduced him, the man was describing how the people listening to the podcast were going to be listening to Dawn's call, and then they were going to be pausing to give input or feedback. And he at one point said these words, and I'm going to say it slowly. I am going to tell you what his brain reveals. Now, you see how that was said? Here's how that could have been said differently. I am going to be giving you my opinion of what I think his brain is revealing to me. Because it's not worded that way. It's worded as fact that his analysis of Dawn, this is what his tactics of analyzing is showing as fact. Okay? No one can actually know for a fact what's on Dawn's brain or what it's revealing, right? I mean, I hope we all realize that. So the way he said this kind of was a little frustrating. Now, a panel of 4 body language and investigators did one on several of Dawn's original interviews, and they didn't seem to catch any deception. And they even ended their video saying, if they're lying, wow, in reference to Dawn and Candace. So they didn't pick up on any deception in those interviews, but Chris and his experts are coming up with all sorts of deception and red flags in one phone call. So that I don't know what to say about that, right? So you got different experts. You can have 10 of them. They all take the stand, and they all will give you a different opinion. It is what it is, right? So, I mean, look at, even COVID. How many different opinions have we got on COVID from all these different doctors and experts, etc.? Everybody says something, different. Yet, like I said, Don and his expert are completely on the other side of the spectrum of this other channel. Now, the guy who said the brain reveals line then said he had hoped that law enforcement involved with the case was going to be tuning in because his analysis may help. As if they didn't do a good job themselves, or they didn't review or analyze their own interviews with the parents. Just bizarre to imply you may be better at this than the TBI, who actually has the case files. But hey, whatever. But when he said this, it was on Chris's channel. And this could be taken as interrupting an investigation, because I would again bet money people called or wrote the agency involved to tell them to listen or sent them the link. Now, could Don's call with Chris be helpful for the agencies? Sure. Because if they're still trying to rule Don out, the interview can be compared to, find red flags or discrepancies from other interviews. Now, is a analysis from an expert on YouTube helpful to them? Not really. They've done their own analysis. They've done their own interviews and used their own experts. They've been in the presence of Don. Chris has not. He was only in the presence of Candace. Right? So, anyway. So, in the call with Chris, Don talks of how Summer bonded with him quicker and easier than she did with Candace, and he said for the first 18 months she really only wanted him. And some people thought sharing this was odd, or that it was weird to point out that Summer didn't really care for her mom, and others wondered why she didn't bond with her mom. And it's actually rather common for a child to be closer with one parent and not another, or bond quicker with one more than the other. And Summer's 5, so he was talking about 3.5 years ago. And he does go on to say that he was glad that she was able to go a lot of places with Candace and to bond. I'm not really sure why people find this odd or think this info is alarming. And have you ever heard the saying, or I should say, have you seen the onesies that say Daddy's girl or Mama's boy? We all have. They're in Walmart and Target, and you get them at baby showers, etc., right? Taking this further, though, remember that the Wells have 3 boys prior to Summer? Maybe Candace was busy with the boys and often would lean on Dawn to handle Summer while she can help the other kids or take them somewhere. Because, she would have been too young for much of what Candace would take her kids to do at that time. And there could be any number of reasons, good or bad, why she bonded more with Dad, or it could mean nothing at all. Right? Because then she went on to later bond with her mom, according to Dawn. Now, my oldest bonded with both my husband and myself equally from day one, but my middle child definitely leaned more towards his dad, which is interesting because now they have very similar personalities. And he's also super close with both of us now. And the youngest, well, he's the baby and was breastfed, so attached to my hip the first 2 years, and now also has a very close bond with both of us. I mean, this sounded like it was probably true because I doubt he would say it knowing Candace would hear it. And if he was lying, she'd be like, why the hell are you telling people my baby didn't want me? Like, what? Now, the way I took Dawn, even bringing this up, was a way to describe Summer, her personality, how their relationship was. Now, sure, if you want to see the bad in everything or constantly look for something suspicious, you can twist it to be he was setting a narrative of, look at me, I love my daughter, I didn't kill her. But is that a fact? We don't know. I'm just saying, in my opinion, it appeared to be a way for him to describe their relationship. Either before or after Dawn talks to Summer bonding with him, he said something so fascinating to me because the psychology behind it is probably super deep. He said, I never knew someone could love me as much as she did. Or it was said like, I never knew somebody could love me the way she did. Something along those lines, right? Same difference. And then Chris asked him to help him understand that. And Dawn immediately, when I say immediately, I mean immediately, went right back to his childhood. Which, mind you, this man is in his mid-50s. And he goes right back to when his parents divorced. And then went into discussing that period of time in his life. Okay? Talking about step-parents and not the step-parents not liking him, etc. Love is different in certain relationships. For example, our love for our kids is going to be different than our love for our spouse. And I also felt this was a true statement simply for the fact that he connected straight back to over 50 years ago in his childhood. And a lot of deep wounds sometimes form in childhoods. So, if this is true, it's sad to think that somebody can spend 3/4 of their life never feeling loved very much, which is something I really need you to keep in mind when we get to the next episode and we discuss things in Dawn's past that are not pleasant. But there, may or may not be a connection to that and a deep psychology surrounding that. In the interviews, Dawn has been known to say, Summer got gone. And I saw somebody on his Facebook page legit asking him, or I should say, demanding that he explain himself on why he says got gone, like he made her gone. Lord. This is actually a rather common thing to say in the South, or if you live out in the country. I understand that it's not the correct way, but hey, some people speak how they speak. You may pick up on things that I say that you're not used to, right? But kind of interesting and thing is that I Googled got gone, even though I knew it was common, as I was just curious. And the first thing that came up was a song titled Got Gone by Kenny Wayne Band. And here are some of the lyrics, just throwing them out there because I thought it was interesting. Not saying this is why he says got gone. But it says, baby got gone again, midnight lonesome, all in my head. Her sweet memories keep creeping in my bed. Hanging out there, hanging on, yeah. Staring at the phone, yeah. Wish she'd be coming home, but I know she won't. I know she won't. Now, I want to end this episode with a few comments I saw on Dawn's Facebook page. I can't stay on either of their Facebook pages for long because the thousands of comments are really overwhelming and it really makes me dislike people further than I already do. I just want to reach through my screen. I won't take that any further, but I just cannot understand people. I spent years trying to understand why people do these things and say these things, and I just will never understand because I would never do it. And if you would never do something, then it's hard for you to understand sometimes. It just is. So, on a pic of Summer, there's a comment that says, same blank stare as her mother. Poor baby, never stood a chance. And then somebody replied to that and said, the mother's blank stare is drugs. So, I bet this person, claims she's all for Summer is like super emotionally charged over the story and didn't even realize that she was actually saying something terrible about the person that she's probably pretending to care about. She thought she was attacking the parents, but she's really attacking Summer, which is just really harsh. Okay? the person who replies to them, they clearly live at Candace's house because she proclaims as fact that Candace stares from drugs. I'm kidding. She doesn't live there. She doesn't live there, but she sure is acting like she knows her or has been in her presence when she's done drugs. I mean, she seems absolutely positive. I picked only a few. I didn't pick any, specifically for a reason. So, yeah, I just picked a few that I saw and just wanted to talk about quickly. But next one, there's another picture of Summer, and it said, bad camera angles or hugely malnourished. Poor, sad sweetie, made to look like a boy. I hope she's free of this life with this family. So another one who thinks that they are bashing the parents, but really they're doing such about Summer, saying she looks like a malnourished boy when this person has no clue if it's true that Summer wanted her hair that way. And Summer was a skinny, petite little girl, but she's not malnourished. You want to see malnourished, Google it. It's heartbreaking. This person then goes on to basically say she hopes this little girl is dead so she doesn't have to return to them. I can't even fathom hoping a child was dead. Who says that? No. Now, if Candace and Dawn were neglectful or abusive in some way, and Summer's alive out there, or whatever the case may be, and she's not deceased, I don't want her to be dead. I want her to come back home and then be placed with a family who will care for her. You want this little girl dead? Because let me tell you something. If Summer's out there and she's alive right now, it's 10,000 times worse in her current situation than it was at her home. That is a fact. It's not pleasant wherever she is, if she's alive. So no, I hope she's alive, because she deserves her life. She didn't get to choose who her parents were or where she lived. She's a little girl, and it's just horrific to me that somebody would say something like that. It's just horrible. Next one. If you're guilty of something, Dawn, they'll find out. Make it easier on yourself and turn yourself in. I don't know how you can dispose of Summer like trash. You're a vile, evil shit. F. Chris is coming for you, boy, and Candace the Rose Killer. Okay. Killer was spelt just like I said it. Comments like these are so mind-blowing. It's like Candace and Dawn are going to be like, okay, weird internet man, you're right. I'm going to go turn myself in. Seriously? But the ending really stuck out to me because I've talked about Chris from the interview room a lot, and this commenter flat out says, and definitely thinks, that it'll be Chris who nails Dawn, or who's coming for Dawn. Well, he's already come for Dawn, but just on YouTube. Sorry to break it to you, lady. She thinks he's going to crack the case. And then she adds on, Candace the Rose Killer. Now, I don't know if Candace's middle name is Rose. It may be, but her missing sister's name was Rose Marie Bly. So is she implying that Candace also killed her sister when she wasn't even living in the same state as her when she went missing? And Summer? Goodness. I just cannot. Now, some of you may be thinking I'm trying hard to defend Summer's parents, or that I'm making excuses for them. Maybe some of you even think that I'm bamboozled by them. I'm not. Trust me. I'm just taking a different angle or approach than the majority have taken. I'm going to have things to say about the parents in the next few episodes, and we'll be talking heavily about their past, and whether or not it can be related to Summer being missing. Now, sometimes, somebody's past does connect or is related to what happened in the present. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's unrelated. Sometimes you can't connect the two things. So we're going to talk about that. But before I do that, I'm going to be telling you about a man named Mark Lunsford and the story of his daughter, Jessica. It's a heartbreaking story. And we're going to start there in the next episode. I wanted to make a short one because we've had several long ones. so that way we can kind of break from the long ones. Anyways, that's it for this episode. We'll continue with Dawn in the next episode. I'll see you soon. Bye.